Imagine if humans only lived one day each year. Not 1 year, 1 day. Every time you fell asleep, an entire year would pass instantly. You would wake up to a completely different world. Older parents, older friends, older strangers, and there would be nothing you could do to stop it. At first, society would try to adapt. People would create systems to survive the gaps between consciousness. Calendars would become sacred. Every conversation would matter more. Every moment awake would feel impossibly valuable, because sleep would no longer feel like rest. It would feel like time travel. Imagine going to bed at age 10 and waking up at 11, then 12, then 13, not slowly, instantly. Your childhood would disappear in minutes. Your entire teenage life would feel like a montage. You would never truly experience growing up, only snapshots of it. Relationships would become strange. A friend you talked to yesterday might wake up married. Someone you love could completely change overnight. Arguments would lose meaning, because by the next morning, a year of emotions would already be gone. People would start recording messages before sleeping, thousands of them. Tiny digital memories left behind for their future selves. Reminders like, "Don't forget how you felt today." Birthdays would become terrifying, not because of age, but because every birthday would feel immediate. No long summers, no slow winters, no waiting for the future. The future would arrive instantly, again, and again, and again. Eventually, humans would stop measuring life in years, because years would mean nothing emotionally. People would measure life in awakenings. How many times have you opened your eyes? 80 awakenings would be considered old. 90 would be legendary, because that would mean you had seen 90 separate worlds. Parents would suffer the most. Imagine holding your newborn child, then sleeping, and waking up to see them walking, then talking, then becoming adults. Parents would miss almost everything. Entire lives reduced to brief moments between unconsciousness. Some people might choose to avoid sleep entirely, trying to stretch their single day longer, terrified of losing another year. But eventually, everyone would realize something disturbing. Human memory was never built for this, because your brain would struggle to connect the massive jumps in time. You would remember moments, but not continuity. Life would stop feeling like a journey, and start feeling like random, disconnected scenes, like flipping through photographs of someone else's existence. Governments would change too. Politics would become unstable. Technologies would evolve too quickly for anyone to fully understand. You could fall asleep in one civilization and wake up in another. Entire cultures could disappear between naps. Languages could evolve. Music would sound unfamiliar. Fashion would transform overnight. History would move faster than human emotion could process. Love would change completely, because real relationships require shared time, and shared time would become rare. People might start planning relationships years ahead, scheduling emotional milestones, preparing video messages for future arguments, future anniversaries, future breakups. Romance would become less spontaneous and more archival, like leaving pieces of yourself in the future for someone else to discover. Some people would become addicted to sleeping, not because they enjoy it, but because they become obsessed with the future, curious about what comes next. They would skip through life rapidly, watching humanity evolve faster and faster. Others would do the opposite. They would fear sleep completely, because every night would feel like dying temporarily, and every morning would feel like resurrection. Eventually, humans would start asking a terrifying question. If we only experience around 80 conscious days in an entire lifetime, did we ever truly live at all? Or were we simply observers, briefly waking up inside an unstoppable river of time? And then, one day, you would wake up for the last time. You wouldn't know it was the end. It would feel like every other awakening. Ordinary, quiet, small. Maybe you would drink coffee. Maybe you would talk to someone you love. Maybe you would waste hours doing meaningless things, not realizing there would never be another morning after this one, because eventually you would fall asleep one final time, and for the first time in your life, another year would pass without you. But maybe the strange part is this: even in our real world, life already feels this way. Childhood disappears instantly. Parents grow older overnight. Friends drift apart without warning. Years blur together. And somehow, time keeps accelerating the older we become. Maybe humans were never meant to experience time slowly. Maybe memory itself is what compresses life, turning decades into fragments, moments, flashes, tiny awakenings inside an endless flow of time.